Hi, everybody. This is Alain Audet, the Executive Director of the Allied Beauty Association. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we have a very special guest. I'll give a few seconds for people to actually join this Facebook Live. This is an English Facebook Live. We had half an hour ago a French one. And so if anyone is interested to hear this French version, we invite you to go to our Facebook page where the Facebook Live, the prior Facebook Live is actually listed. It's actually, you can find it there. So right now, this one is going to be in English. It's going to be the exact same conversation pretty much that we've had half an hour ago. So I would like to introduce to all of you Natalie Bibeau. Natalie Bibeau, we've known one another for over 20 years now, 22 years. We're just like looking back in time. We met in December 1998 while we were both working at Parasuco. Natalie was the communication director. I was the sales director. And this is when I discovered her magic touch with PR. Then a couple years after, when I joined Kerastase and as the brand director for Kerastase and launched a brand in Canada, I call upon the services of Natalie to promote and do the PR campaign and also work some events with us for at Kerastase. And you told us earlier, how many years have you worked with Kerastase after that? Because I left after about 4 years, but you were still there for a long time.
I know, this is like, sounds crazy today when we think about it. I worked for Kerastase 13 years, and I love to say that I survived after you left. I survived 4 other brand managers. So I don't think we will see something like that again. Everything is moving so fast today. Yeah. Even now, when I'm telling some other brands that we've been working 4 or 5 years for brands, sometimes 7, 8. Yep. They're like, wow, it seems like impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes. This is people move around very quickly nowadays. Yeah. And then now with the ABA, we've been working together as well. When I joined the ABA, we started working together on Revel, the promotion of Revel in beauty in Toronto. So for this year would have been the 3rd year working together on promoting the event, but also doing some live activations during the show itself. Like the last year, we had influencers and journalists doing a floor tour and some live interviews and meeting some of our platform artists and all the important people or the newsworthy people that were on the show floor. So that's
hopefully these events are going to come back one day. I guess it's going to take a little while, but it's so rich, right? When we can meet people face to face, and I'm sure we all, well, it's great to even connect with you like this today, but I'm sure that many people will want to meet again and meet see for real new trends, new product, new hair product, and see how it's happening. Like video is great, but there's nothing that beats a real face-to-face, right?
Yes. I think people are actually looking forward to this to happen again. I think people are just a bit skittish, not really ready yet to extend their bubble, so.
Yeah, I think, once we hopefully have a vaccine soon, but even when we have a vaccine, it's going to take a little while before it's going to be under control, obviously. Yeah. So, yeah.
Let's hope it's COVID. Let's talk about what we've done together during at the beginning of the pandemic, when the salons were shutting down and everybody was wondering how long we'd be shut down and how can we prove to the governments that our industry is well trained about infection control and about sanitation and all this, and why we should be allowed to reopen under the right considerations and all of that. So just maybe explain to people how, what was the relationship there, how NATA PR helped the ABA there.
Yeah, we were lucky to have you as a spokesperson, as an expert also, Alain, because I always say that, like, I cannot be better than my clients. If my clients doesn't want to do interviews and be out there, you can send the best press release out there and have all these interviews lined up. If, you don't have like a strong spokesperson like the ABA has right now there, I feel, I don't know if you know that, people, but you're extremely lucky to have Alain as an ambassador and a spokesperson for you guys. So this is what we did actually since the event wasn't happening. So we decided to really put forward what is one of the probably one of your main role as an association is to represent all the beauty experts across Canada. We know the ABA obviously for the hairdressers quite a bit, but you also have all the beauty estheticians and all these professionals that you represent. And we found out this is something that we know PR people, like the government loves to know who to talk to, not just the government, but the press.
Yes.
Media love to know if there's someone that can talk in the name of an entire industry. Imagine how it helps them do their work even better. And we didn't work so long together. We really like started the wheel, sending I think 2 press releases. And when they discovered the ABA and Alain, the work you're doing, you became like their go-to expert anytime they wanted to know how long will the salon be closed, what are you going to do? And Alain worked like, I don't know, 70, 90 hours a week talking to the press. I'm telling you, he said, I'm tired. I said, you don't have to say yes to all the interview requests, Alain.
Well, I thought it would be important to say yes. At the same time, what happened, I was also redirecting some of those requests because very often they wanted to talk to salon owners from business owners, estheticians and, from all trades from their region. So you get a phone call from a media from Calgary. Well, they want to know about Alberta people as well. So yes, there's a spokesperson. That's a national spokesperson, but they want to hear what's happening in their province. So if you get somebody from the Maritimes, the same thing. So it actually also forced us to identify other spokespeople and people who could actually represent themselves and represent the industry and represent the ABA, in a very strong manner. And we have numerous people able to do that, but we were able to direct people and making sure that they had the right information to be communicating with the media and with the government as well. So
that's a huge accomplishment. Kudos. This is huge what you were able to do in such a short amount of time too, because everything was urgent. Like we know, now it's easy to say, well, this is what happened back then 6 months ago, but nobody really knew. So you were like, crisis management 101. You were like ready to talk to and give also the right information, which was interesting because all the provinces also weren't doing the same thing at the same time. So exactly. Oh my God, it was complicated, right?
So now let's talk about you, NATA and NATA PR. So NATA PR, let's just go start there. I mean, I just told our relationship, but I think it's can you just give us a short view into your Rolodex? Young people have no idea what a Rolodex is, but your database, a database of clients, especially in the field of beauty, luxury, and fashion, just to give an idea of your depth of experience and contact within the industry.
Yeah, I should write a book eventually about, the story of beauty PR in Canada. It really started actually when you were at L'Oréal and launching Kerastase. And thanks to you, Alain, you were a big part of our success and you really give us the impulsion we needed to grow actually. So it's our 20th anniversary and we're on the cover of Grenier aux Nouvelles.
Bravo.
And you see me with my partner who manages the Toronto office. All this to say that I have to pray, for my own business. Like I'm preaching, you should be visible. So this is the year where we decided to be visible as well. So I founded NATA PR 20 years ago after we worked together. I left a little before you from Parisco, I think. And my goal was really to start on my own. And when it wasn't popular at all to be an entrepreneur and to start your business, that wasn't a fashion and a trend at the time. I don't know if you remember, Alain, but back in the day, when people were starting their own company, they were like, nah, they're not good enough to find themselves a job, so they start their own business. So you can measure how far we went from those days to today. Today, when I tell people I have my own agency for 20 years, they're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, yeah. But it wasn't a popular trend as it is now. And we really started, I had both fields at the time. I'm a musician, I'm a trained musician, so I was doing some PR and music, but beauty, and Kerastase was our first beauty brand. So thank you for your confidence. And at the time, this is when everything was so much easier. Now we know. Big companies could buy publicity easily. It was TV, magazines, newspaper, radio, your job was done. So when you had the money, you could really be visible at billboards, billboards by the road. That's about it. So can you imagine how easy it was? Especially now, like you look at what we're doing right now. We're talking on Facebook, there's YouTube, Instagram, plus all the traditional media, the Globe and Mail, the Suns, they have, some of them still print, they have the paper still. I don't know for how long, by the way, but they all have their web platforms too. So the world is a very different game, and it's really difficult when you want to get known and you have your own salon, or you're a hairdresser, esthetician, or you want to launch, you have your own products. You're wondering, where should I start? Because it's huge. Plus now you have all the influencers too who can really help you get known. So this is why we created what I call NATA PR School.
But before that, I want you to tell us the brand you work with. Yes, the brand.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, PR people, we talk. So at the moment, we work with Wella, Sebastian, Naixen. We've been working for them for a good 5-6 years. We'll see what's going to happen. Many changes too. But so we still do a lot of the hair. I work for a hair salon, chain of salon. Quite big. And what else do we have? Oh, I also work with professionals. We've done that quite a bit, even in the past, even with you, Alain. So sometimes you had brand ambassadors. So we have sometimes hairdressers who are hired by brands to become, their spokesperson. Sometimes they're the best to talk about a brand, obviously. So we did that. I work for, I don't know if you know those brand, Canadian ones, Laboratoire, Dr. Renault, which is an amazing brand. We have Proderm. We're doing work for IDC Dermo, which is also a very interesting pharmacy brand. So sometimes it's pharmacy brand. We've done a lot of work for Caudalie, which is a beautiful brand, international, but they do like a great work. So we really help them launch a little like you did. After all those years, I realized that we're specialized to help people come in the market they don't know and help them get known. So this is something we've done. We've done that for Innisfree last fall. Innisfree, if you don't know that brand, you have to follow that brand, INNISFREE. They target the young audience, but I feel like they do a great job giving these young people the products they want. It's like you walk in a candy store. It's very different from, I guess it's a Korean brand, so the K-beauty that you hear about. So if you have the chance to go online and check them out, because they do, and I find an amazing job. So Korean brands, beauty brands, they have all those masks, but this Innisfree brand is huge. They have all the makeup brand to the skincare line, and everything's super affordable. And it's also the way they obviously market themselves. That's really interesting, how to cater to a younger audience if it's something you're looking for. So what else? We're doing Roche-Beaubois, high-end furniture brand from France. I do a lot of wine and food. We work for a local distillery right now, one that just started with us that's really interesting. So this is something very different from the other countries. Actually, in Canada, we're lucky because the market is so spread out. Canada is so big and have so many different markets actually in one big market. Very few agencies are specialized in just beauty, for example. So other agencies similar to mine, we will do food, designed, fashion too. So we do a lot of work for Yoga Jeans right now. Joseph Ribkoff, which is another amazing Canadian brand. My God, so many. So we did work together for Parasuco. You did work for Guess Jeans, so did I. So, big brands. I did big brands and smaller brands. So I say that we have two kind of not huge, but two kinds of client that pays us, right? So we have the large corporation and we have the smaller companies.
So let's talk now about why you're branching out into creating a PR school. So what's NATA PR School?
Yeah, it's a
Let's
service.
find out what that is. Yes.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a long time, actually, maybe more than 2 years, and how I can help some companies that used to work with us, because as I said, we work for large corporations like Coty, L'Oreal, but we also had like smaller brands. So one of them, a few of those actually, maybe 5 of those. So we were doing like a 6 month instead of doing like a 12-month contracts. Smaller companies don't have the budget of the L'Oreal have, obviously. So we were doing these programs shorter, just to show them how we can generate visibility and get them done.
Yep.
And all of them at the end, normally we might lose one or two, but some of them keep working with us. They're like, now I understand what PR does, and yes, we want to keep working with you. And all of them, they told us that, very interesting, but we have someone in-house now. We have our own marketing assistant, marketing responsible of communication, and that person's going to be doing everything. Meaning that person's going to do publicity plan, marketing plan, social media plan, create social media content, and PR.
Yeah.
So I decided to create this program for those people and the smaller ones, also like experts, hairdresser who wants to be known and be visible out there. So this is a program for those people who wants to use PR and are doing maybe already social media, and how to combine PR with what they're doing already and help them, because I'm like, oh my God, poor people. It's so difficult to do everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably we don't, maybe people like us don't realize if we haven't done it. Like you and I, obviously, we're the ones in front of everything all the time, learning new things. So we know and understand what it requires to do all that. But some big entrepreneur probably don't realize how much time you need to do that, and the knowledge too that you need. So I decided to create the NATA PR school especially for these two type of clients.
A lot of entrepreneurs think, okay, well, I just hired this 25-year-old who's strong on social media because has a personal strong presence on social media, and this person will take over my company's social platforms and will do my PR and everything. So it's a very different mindset and different structure to promote yourself as an influencer, or yourself as someone who is good at doing something, and then take a product or take a brand and now try to put life into that on social media and plan the whole PR campaign, the whole follow-up, anything that has to do with media. So I think this is where people suddenly they realize that they don't know what they don't know, and this is where that PR school comes into play, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So we're simplified everything we do. So we're using a model that we use at the agency, that we use every day actually with larger, smaller companies. So this is what I want to teach people, and really from the start be very like hands-on and help them in their daily lives right away. Because as you know, we know, like we've been, you and I, hired by large corporations and our smaller companies, and some our bus expects a lot from us. And I want to help them and teach them and create, if they need a plan to launch a product, if they need help to how can I send information to the press, and how can I interest influencers by what I'm doing, how can I do that. So we've cracked the code, as I say. We've simplified everything to help you get known and get out there. So if this is what you're looking for, this program is for you, and you'll have access to me, so I can
So what are the steps? So step one, because today we're just like teasing people about it. It's not giving them all the information about it. So this is the tease. So next step, there's a webinar. So let's talk about the webinar.
Yeah, free webinar. So if you want to know more, because I cannot explain everything in this just live Facebook, obviously. So if you want to know more and you're interested, you have questions, you can join us Thursday at noon. So not tomorrow, in 2 days, after tomorrow, noon. So the whole program is going to be also a noon thing, because I know people are busy. So from noon to for maybe 45 minutes, an hour. So you can join. I'll be teaching you two of our tactics that you can implement right away for free, just to let you know show you what we will be teaching you eventually, and explain and what the whole program is all about, and answer your questions, obviously. So if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. There's one in French. If you're watching this one and you're wondering, there's one in French. There is one tomorrow, which is Wednesday. So the 16 is in French, the 17 is in English. If you want the link, it's a little complicated. I still have to work on my website and
I
all
put
that.
your Facebook page already in the comments, so people, you can just go in the comments of this post. NATA PR, so it's NATA PR MTL. This is on Facebook, and you said this is where people can find the link to either of the two classes. But you also said that if they miss the webinar and they want to watch the replay, this is where they can access it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be there too. And I can maybe send you the links. Did you have the links for the webinar to register to the webinar? Or no?
We will email that to everybody.
Okay,
at the same time, they are also on our social media platforms. So this is going to be out there. Perfect.
So Facebook, come on our Facebook page. If you look a little bit, you'll find it easily. It's easy to find.
And the website is also your NATA PR website. It's also in the comments. So let's talk about the program. How many modules? How does that work?
How does that work? So we just did one, actually, so I know exactly how it's going to work. So it's not the first one, it's the second one. I did what we call a beta class with 6 people, and we had so much fun and so many great results. And so this one's going to be even better because I've learned so much from the first one that I taught. So this is how it works to help people very quickly. I'm doing a video, so every week you'll have access to a video that you can look over the weekend. It's anywhere between 15-20 minutes, so it doesn't take you much of your time. And then there's a live class, either the Wednesday for French and the Thursday for English. And for about an hour, you have access to me. You can ask me your questions. I'm going to ask you questions too and see and find out what you're doing and what you're looking for. And right from there, like start building right away the tools you need, and explain like very simplified what you can do to be visible and get known very quickly. So this is, and it's a long program, obviously, but I can teach this. As you can see, I can talk about my work for months. It's a 3-month program, but it's once a week, and I'm telling you, you're going to learn so much. So you'll know all the basics of what PR can do and how to also combine them to your social media, which is very important nowadays, right?
So it's 3 months, once a week. Yeah, and so there is an offer for the ABA members right now. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. So you will receive it you have to be a member. So people, if you're watching this and you're not a member of the ABA, I'm telling you, you should become a member. This is an association that's working like crazy to represent all the beauty professionals. So members will have a $500 discount on my class, which is a huge discount. And you'll be sending a code. So I'm not going to tell you the code because you have to be a member to get the code.
Exactly.
So this is a huge discount just for our members, and to thank Alain to have this generosity to invite me to talk about my new, it's a new service actually at the agency, which is interesting too, because then we'll be talking about, what's happening at the agency. So you'll have really like up-to-date information. It's not a class, it's not a university class type where you just listen and learn. It's really, this is what's happening out there in the field.
And it's hands-on. It's about their project. So this is what you're going to be working on, and the evolution that you can see over the next 3 months, part of getting your guidance in whatever they're doing with their own project, their brand, their business, or where they are working.
Exactly.
So this is amazing.
They need a plan, how they communicate with press releases, so we'll be like giving and we'll build those tools with them along the way. So that's very interesting.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Natalie. So NATA PR, in the comments, you have NATA PR website, you have NATA PR Facebook page as well. In there, you will find the information on how to register for the webinar. That the French webinar is tomorrow, the English webinar is on Thursday. If you miss the webinars, both are recorded and will be available also free of charge on the links will be on the Facebook page of NATA PR. And if you want to register to the program that starts next week, there's a $500 discount, $500 discount for ABA members. This is professional members as well as corporate members. So we invite both categories of membership to look into this. And the corporate members, you'll be receiving an email as well to discuss that information with you. So
Yeah.
any questions, you can contact directly NATA PR, or you can contact the ABA at communication, no S, at abacanada.com. So thank you, Natalie.
Before we end, I
Yes.
like what you said in the French version. Like, if you have a company, you can put that in all your
Oh yes,
expenses, right? So
yes,
don't
of
forget
course.
that if you're a salon, if you're an expert, this is part of your expenses. There are some programs too. You might be available to get some money because
Yeah.
now all these programs that are linked to online expertise can be probably founded, right? So just I love when you said that. I
Yes,
just wanted to
there
make sure
are
that people
many
know.
programs out there right now. I know we're looking into Digital Main Street. I'm not sure if this qualifies for Digital Main Street program, but there's a lot of different programs out there with the provincial government specifically are funding some any education program that is about going online or beefing up your online presence.
Yeah.
So I think there's opportunities there. We just don't know because it's they change from one province to the other, and sometimes from one regional administration within the province from the next one as well, depending of how the money is managed. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Nata. And
Thank
talk
you,
to you.
Alain, and
Thank
become
you.
members, people. Become member of the
Thank you.
ABA. Bye.
Goodbye.